Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Ask an Islander. I'm Bonnie with Project Grad. We are sitting down career services this morning. I know people are getting ready to graduate. We need to talk about jobs, y'all. And even if you're still here on campus, we also need to talk about jobs. So why don't you introduce yourselves real quick and we'll get looking at this checklist.
Okay, well I'll go first, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Stephanie Shoemaker.
You're closest.
And I am the career counselor for the College of Nursing and Health Sciences. And so, as I'll just add a couple of things about what career counselors do. We help with job hunting, resume writing, changing your major, mock interviews, anything and everything involved with your career path. We can help with that. And then I'll let my colleague speak.
I'm Kelsey Johnson. I'm the career counselor for the College of Business. So we have a whole team of counselors here to help you at Career Services. There's a counselor for each of the different colleges. So Stephanie and I are just two of them, but we're excited to answer some of your questions today.
Awesome. So if you go on the Career Services website and you're looking for someone to talk to, is it listed? It's all listed by college, so I could just go on there and find College of Education, and then I email that person, or how do I schedule with y'all?
Yeah, probably the easiest thing is just to call us because
Okay.
we have schedulers right there at our front desk.
Okay.
But you can also access some things through Handshake as well. That's kind of newer, so probably the easiest thing is just to call.
Okay, gotcha. Well, wonderful. Well, we're gonna go ahead and check it. We're gonna start on this. We have a free interview checklist that we're gonna go through today, y'all. Something that I think is a giant misconception is that the only thing you really need to be doing before your interview is like picking out a professional outfit. And I think there's a lot that you can do to really prepare for an interview so that you look ready to go and someone that could slide in seamlessly into the job. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit today. So our first thing that I think is one of the most important is researching the company. And that's something, do you want to expand on that a little bit and why that's important?
Sure, I'll take that one. Unless you have something to say, Kelsey. I'm just jumping in there.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so I think of preparing for an interview is like preparing for an exam. So there are things that you can kind of anticipate are going to happen, and you could try to get into the head of that hiring manager and say, you know, how are they going to evaluate me? What kinds of things are they going to be looking at? So researching the company is an important part of that because they're going to want to know that you know about them and that you know what they've been up to lately or what their website's like. So speaking of website, that's a really good place to do some research on a company, just to see how many locations they have, what kinds of different career paths they might have in their company, what their focus is, their mission statement, their values. Being able to weave that into your interview is definitely a bonus point and then some. So let's see, the other thing you could do is look at LinkedIn and see if maybe there's some alumni who are already working at this company and reach out to them. Our alumni are very friendly with current students, so they want to help you. So that might be another thought on looking into that research piece.
Yeah, I know I've interviewed for a lot of jobs and I feel like that's one of the biggest questions, like right off the bat, is what do you know about us or what do you know about this job? And so it's a really good way to be like, oh, actually, I was reading this and this, and so you sound like you're on top of things. So, further is to familiarize yourself with that position. So sometimes we read job descriptions and we're like, oh, that sounds great. You can kind of make a snap decision, but before you go in, it's so important to know about the position itself.
Yeah, and sometimes the job description or the job posting online is not exactly what you're going to be doing in the position. So that's where talking to someone who works there, talking to an alum, connecting with someone on LinkedIn and getting the inside scoop is going to be really helpful. Sometimes the title and responsibilities, it's important to definitely know those and to familiarize yourself with those, but it might not be everything that's included in the position. But one neat tip for kind of getting the most important pieces of the job description visually is you can copy that job description and paste it in an online word cloud generator, and it will show you the most common words that appear in that posting. So you might see communication is one of the biggest words, and so you know that in your interview you really need to focus on communication and sharing examples of times when you have communicated well.
That's a great idea. I love that. I love that. So something else that I really think is important is rehearsing questions, so interview questions. If you Google like interview questions, you're gonna get a bunch of standard interview questions. And my joke is that you should be able to answer off the cuff your biggest strengths and your biggest weaknesses, because I feel like that's like,
Absolutely.
everybody
That's coming.
asks that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So definitely, so what kind of interview questions do you think that students should be thinking about or should be prepared for?
Well, what you're saying is absolutely right on. So tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. You can pretty much expect that. Tell me about yourself. That's another really open-ended question that we at Career Services would love to help you with that one, because that's really actually a challenge, but a unique opportunity to sell yourself in the interview as well. So we would like to show you how to do that. And then the other things that you can expect are things like, tell me about a difficult situation you had with a person or a project, and how did you get through that? So, you can prepare for those kinds of questions and think through experiences you've had that apply to those questions. Again, we can help you with sort of anticipating a barrage of questions that you'll be getting, but you can prepare for them, and so you can feel more confident when you walk into the interview.
Absolutely. I think sometimes those general questions are even harder than like the specific ones, because
Absolutely.
you can really tailor it to make yourself sound perfect for the position. Something that I am a big proponent of as well, I think people forget that an interview, you're not just being interviewed for the job, you're also supposed to be interviewing them to make sure that they're a good fit for you too. And something that's really helpful is to have questions. So what kind of questions are appropriate? What kind of questions should you be asking at the end of the interview? I think it gets a little sticky, I think, where you feel like where's the boundaries and what should you ask?
Yeah.
So the worst thing that you could say when they ask you, do you have any questions for us at the end of the interview? The worst thing that you could say is, no, I don't have any questions. I'm done, thank you, and I'll just leave now. So you want to have questions prepared, because you're also really nervous in that interview setting, and you might not be able to think of a question in the moment, but if you have them written down, you can go to your list and say, oh, you've already answered this one, but I'd really like to know more about what a typical day in the life of this position would be working here, or what are the top 3 things you're looking for this candidate to accomplish in the first 30 days on the job. Asking them something that will give you more information about that workplace, about the culture, so that you can make a decision and decide if it's the best fit for you, but also so that you can have some insider information if you end up going to a second round interview or going to a panel interview. If you don't ask any questions, they're going to assume that you're not interested in working for them. So that's why it's also really important to have something written down. If you have a notebook with you to take notes, that would be even better, or a Padfolio or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely have interviewed for lots of jobs, and I feel like it's pretty easy to take notes during, and I love the idea of writing your questions down beforehand, because I get very nervous, and then at the end, like, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm fine, I learned everything,
I'm
I'm fine. And so I think that's a great advice, that you guys write things down ahead of time as you're reading through about the company or reading the job description, like you're writing your questions, just so you know. Okay, so I think we have a question. How does a student share transferable skills during if they don't have experience for that job? Oh, that's interesting. So how do you apply what you do have to something that you may not have?
That's a very good question, because that is, especially being maybe a less experienced person as far as work goes, but there are tons of transferable skills that you gain just here on campus that you can transfer to a job qualification. So for example, what I do is I take the job description and then I circle all of the skills that I have in that, and then talk about how I got those skills in the interview. So talking about communication skills or decision-making skills, or it could be more specific, like event planning skills or those kinds of things, organizational skills. So those kinds of things, we can help you work through that if you come see us. But yeah, it's really important to be able to articulate how your skills match what they need. So.
And I would say, just this morning I was working with an accounting student who doesn't have any experience in accounting yet, but in the accounting profession, it's really important to be able to follow ethical guidelines and to be a professional who is respecting legal guidelines. And so we talked about incorporating that student's ethics class on their resume and talking about times when they had shown leadership on campus or had volunteered in the community, because that can speak to those kind of transferable skills. So we promise you that you have transferable skills. They might not be specifically listed in the job description, but we can help you communicate those on your resume and in the interview.
So is it okay if they say something like, do you have experience with this, and you admit, like, I don't know if it's okay for you to say, no, however, I have done this and this, and it could be applicable. Is it okay to say no that you haven't? Or should you, I don't want to like put, it's totally okay to say that and then just kind of slide in what you do that could be.
You definitely want to be honest in the interview, because they, you know, if they choose to hire you, they will quickly find out if you have those skills or not. But it's okay to say, I don't have that specific experience yet, but I am working to learn more about it, or I've done these things to try to gain those skills, or I know that I would be excited to jump in and learn on day one. Stuff like that.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have another question. Does Career Services have a website or something to show students what to wear during interview? Hey, you beat us, it's number 5. Okay, so we're actually gonna talk right now about picking an outfit for an interview, because I think this is, sometimes can be the most difficult, especially as a busy student. What kind of advice do y'all have for us?
Yes, so, Kelsey, jump in here anytime. So what I'm wearing is something you don't want to wear to an interview. So you definitely want to err on the conservative. And so dressing up a little bit shows respect for the company, for your interviewer. It shows you're serious, it shows you're professional. So it definitely impacts their impression of you. You were speaking earlier about the person who came in with pajama pants on. And sometimes our students on campus have a casual, you know, we're used to casual dress on campus. But when you want to be, you know, seen as a responsible, professional person, it is important that you look the part. So, you know, that's just step 1 in the process. So there's a lot of options for professional dress. We're going to have a fashion show next week on Wednesday in the Rotunda here in the UC building, you know, where Chick-fil-A and Panda Express are, at noon, from noon to 1. So you can come actually see some of our students dressed professionally. Now they'll probably have suits on, but you don't necessarily have to wear a complete full suit. You know, slacks and a nice blouse would work, or a shirt for a guy. Ties are always nice, a bonus for men. Ladies can wear scarves or accessorize with some subtle jewelry. So there's a lot of ways to look professional without having to pay a lot of money for a suit. Another thing that we have is Izzy's Closet. So you can actually check out a suit from Career Services if you'd like to borrow one for an interview. So you just call us up, make an appointment, and we'll fit you for a suit. And you would supply your own shirt for underneath that, but we have blazers and slacks and skirts for ladies, either or. So that's another opportunity our students have, which is really cool, because I didn't have that as a college student.
That's a great resource.
Yes, it's an awesome resource to be professional on your interview.
Cool. So I think, were you going to show us just a couple of ways to kind of upgrade your...
Oh yes, so I brought some accessories today. So since this isn't exactly appropriate for a professional setting, I'm going to just show you really quickly how you can, of course this is the ladies version of dressing up a little bit, but you can throw a cardigan on over, and I have my necklace, you know, just hiding here. But anyway, you could dress this up this way, just a sketch. Another thing that you could do is put on a scarf, which is another nice accessory that's easy to keep in your bag. And once I put on my cardigan, which of course is buttoned up, but it covers up my graphic t-shirt a little bit more. So then you just see,
oh, there you go.
You know, just kind of the shirt underneath. And I have a little bit of a jacket, so it kind of dresses it up just a notch or two.
It's
so
easy.
A couple of ideas that you can just keep in your backpack and throw them on as you head to the office.
Yeah, and especially for student interviews like here on campus. If you're interviewing for like a
Absolutely.
department here, like this is something really easy to throw on a sweater for guys, to throw on a blazer, change your shirt real quick. Like these are things you can keep in the car during the day and just toss on real fast before your interview so that you're not having to rush home, no worry about time.
Yes.
Super easy.
Super
I love
easy.
that. I like stuff like that. Awesome. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up today. Thank y'all so much for sitting down with us. We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Yeah, if y'all have more questions for career services, please comment below. We are going to go ahead and announce our winner of the giveaway is Kimberly Gadberry. Thank you so much for posting such a thoughtful question. We have a really nice padfolio for you. We've got some office goodies inside. And we're going to go ahead and also just remind y'all, the fashion show is next Wednesday on the 19th. 12 to 1 downstairs in the UC. Come out, check it out, and then afterwards they're actually doing a sale as well in their offices on the second floor?
Third floor.
Oh, I'm sorry, third floor,
Yeah.
y'all. Third floor in
It's all
career
good.
services.
It's all
At least we
good.
corrected it. Third floor of career services. We will be back next Friday. We're going to sit down with the art museum and talk about all the cool programming coming y'all's way. And also, they're hiring for student docents, y'all. If you need a part-time job where you can go out just for a couple of hours and talk to elementary school kids, come on, you know you want that job.
Cool.
We'll see y'all next Friday. Thanks again.
Thank you.